Welcome back to the Missionary Disciple Podcast. My name is Andre and Angele. This is my wife, Angele, and Michelle is joining us today. We're talking about activation. Angele, maybe you can recap kind of what we talked about in the last episode about re-engaging our students in this phase.
Yeah, just briefly, we talked about the power of re-engaging those students in the mission and why that's so important, and doing that through this activation and outreach. And what that does is it brings them into the heart of what we're doing, and it does something culturally for the group, because it sets the tone of, like, we are a movement that isn't just a club. We are an evangelizing movement. We are one that reaches out. We go into the peripheries, and right away it sets the tone at the beginning of the school year, because it's so easy to get insular, to want to put on social events and just like, let's love up on each other. And it's like, no, like, we're a movement that is reaching out. So right away at the beginning, we set the tone. We have a context in which to re-engage those students. So the context is, come with me as we reach the campus. So that provides all kinds of opportunities to teach them how to share their faith, how to have spiritual conversations, how to follow up someone well, how to start a discovery study with your friends. So the context allows for the right conversations to happen in discipling someone. And all of that just creates momentum, because as we pull people into what we're doing, oh, look, there's 8 people at the CCO table and there's 1 person at the biology club table. And so that momentum actually does something for the culture of the movement as well. There's something happening here. And what's happening here? We're going out. That's what's happening here. So it's a great part about the activation phase.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about re-engaging students right now.
Yeah, today actually we're going to be the idea of sowing broadly.
Sowing broadly.
So Michelle, on average, how many students would be surveyed? You know, that they're passing by. How many would an average average campus survey?
I would say about like upwards of 1,000 people who were surveying in maybe just a couple of days.
So you would
Oh,
say,
really? Wow.
yeah, that's pretty impressive. So you're saying you would have 1,000 students on a campus of 20,000 that you would have. Would you say that the connection is a conversation of some sort?
Absolutely. Like, we, even in that 5-question survey, it allows for conversation. It allows for being able to build a connection. You know, what program are you in? What year? Where are you from? What's your faith background? Like, you get to answer the questions, but also build a relationship with them.
How many would you say that actually end up, and this is just average, it kind of would actually end up being followed up and then going, entering into a study out of that 1,000 people that are surveyed?
I know for us, like, basically we would have surveyed somewhere around probably 800 people in a day and a half, got 500 contacts, and followed up, like, being met for 20 minutes at the Starbucks with over 200 people.
You'd meet with over 200 people.
Yeah.
So you've surveyed 1,000, 500 people kind of left their contact, and you actually had a conversation. Remember, we talked last week about, the step-by-step. So you've had a meeting with 200 people. How many would you say that actually end up kind of in the study?
Good question. I mean, many of the people that you actually get in
Starbucks?
Starbucks, get in the Starbucks, like, for a 20-minute meeting. I mean, I would say most will sign up for faith.
Okay, so you're moving, Anja, kind of CCO talks about this funnel thing, like, this sounds like that.
Yeah, it totally is. And it's how we know how it works. So, like, there's a funnel of involvement, and then at the base of that funnel is when we would say, like, okay, these are multiplying missionary disciples. These are leaders for the renewal of the world, and that's generally 10% of the scope that you had at the beginning. So why does CCO so broadly is that No one gave us that. Like that's not scriptural. Like it's not in the Bible. Like there will be a funnel. And, like we just, through School of Hard Knocks, we saw what happens is that when we reach out, there's some people that are involved in different levels. And then like the key people, there's going to be about 10% of them. So if I only try to reach and gather in 30 people and I only have maybe 3 leaders,
You can see the result of that.
yeah, so then it's like, oh, okay, like I would like to have more leaders. Well, then I have to actually have a bigger funnel. So if I want to yeah, and if there's actually a crisis of leadership in a movement, I would say like then go do more outreach. Because you need to widen the funnel of the possibilities of who's going to come through, and have that desire and calling on their life and responsiveness to God's call to be a leader.
But you're talking, okay, and I agree with you, like 10% or whatever that percentage is, it will become multiplying missionary disciples. But even reaching the lost,
Oh,
Jesus
totally.
actually is very biblical because Jesus did say so broadly, so it is biblical.
Biblical, yes,
Yes.
yes. Sowing broadly is
And
totally
Jesus
biblical.
did. He spoke to the masses, like, and some of them followed and some of them didn't. But if he just spoke to the people that he knew would listen to him, there'd be many that were Matthew.
Well, at least 5,000, not counting the women and children.
Yeah. Well, no, but you miss out some, like Sowing Broadly was a woman at the well. That wouldn't have been the most likely person to follow, or the Mary Magdalene, or Matthew, or there are many that were on the periphery that you wouldn't think would be. So would you say that actually Sowing Broadly is actually um, you know increasing the pool of people of the periphery we can actually reach with the gospel? Or do you think the strategy should be just focusing on those yeah, you're guaranteed, that small group of people? Yes, they've come to us, and we know they're safe. Or do you think it's better to sow broadly?
Do you think you got set up there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell me why that's better. Like, in your opinion, why would that be better?
Yeah, sowing broadly, like reaching, casting your nets wide, like going to hundreds of people on campus. It allows for reaching more people
Yeah.
with the gospel message. It allows for, okay, I have 500 contacts, now I have 500 opportunities to share the gospel with this person in Starbucks, right?
Yeah.
It's it reaches the lost. It reaches, especially a huge part of sowing broadly is, okay, well, where can you reach the most amount of people, right? You don't go to a tiny little place on campus where nobody's going to find you, or in, tucked into your, maybe there's a chaplaincy on campus, but it's super far away from where everybody is. Like, no, you go to the main part of campus and you go where everybody is going to be walking by, and no matter who it is, that's who you're serving. That's who you're reaching, right? You're reaching the lost.
Yeah, that's really important because often people run their outreach from the parish boundaries, but Sowing Broadly actually goes to the market square, the public area, and that tells me that we're actually reaching to the periphery seriously. We're not just giving just talking about it. But we're taking it seriously by actually thinking broadly. We're actually taking mission seriously. Thinking not broadly is actually not taking mission seriously. It's taking, I don't something else. I'm sure there's a different word for it, but so
Yeah, I might have sounded like I was saying different things than what you guys are saying, and I guess it's a both and, because there's the knowledge that leaders will come out of that 10%. Like, so like we do want to have leaders, not so, hey, we got a whole bunch of leaders, it's so we can send them out, right?
Yeah.
But there's the value in itself of sowing broadly, because the scripture is very clear, Romans 10, like how can they believe unless someone tells them?
Exactly.
So we need to get out on the campus, and we want to reach as many people as possible. So we're sowing broadly because of our heart to bring Jesus to the campus, to get out there, and where's the best place we can find them. But we know that in that midst of that sea of people, there are people that are going to be awesome to continue that on. that will have the conviction to keep going and to keep pursuing
Well,
the
yeah, I
Lord and
think
his
it's
mission.
conversion and leadership. Like,
So yeah, so I mean,
yeah,
this is our mission statement. We want evangelization and build leaders for the
yeah,
renewal of the world.
yeah.
So both happen at the same time, and they both serve each other. It's a context, and it's our heart, and it's our mission, and
Yeah.
it's building leaders, and it's a whole
But
package.
as I kind of think of the sowing broadly, to me, just at the end of our mission statement says a renewal of the world.
Mm-hmm.
That actually, to me, we're putting our action where our convictions are.
Mm-hmm.
Our words are matching up with our action. I mean, we want to reach the world, so we sow broadly. If
Right.
if we didn't sow broadly, we weren't really reaching. We're not really serious about reaching the world. Like we have a different plan. But when Jesus says in Matthew 28, he says, "Go and make disciples of all the nations." Actually, sowing broadly is really that. We're just going, "Whoa, we will do it." We'll throw it out there, and you know, um, to me, it's just so moving and so inspiring, and I see the potential, um, and how seriously we're taking. I can say with great confidence and conviction, and the how proud I feel about the students and the staff as missionaries, what we're doing for the mission of the church universally when we sow broadly, because we're really doing it when we're saying, who can we reach? I don't know. The Holy Spirit can work with whoever, so I'm just going to make it possible to reach them by sowing broadly. I'm going to sit up at a table, and I'm going to have as many conversations as I can with how far they might be away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have a conversation, a connection. It can only produce good fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Even those people that don't end up down the funnel, their experience of the church is relational. It's not like we're not in there saying, don't do this. We're actually inviting them to do something. So it's an invitation into something. It's not a reminder of how far away they are.
Mm-hmm.
We're not saying, like you are a sinner. We're inviting them to recognize that they are sinners.
With a lot of joy, right? Like the
Yeah.
way people are going out is not awkward credit card people trying to get
Mm-hmm.
surveys, right? Like there's a lot of joy and authenticity, and we're giving them chips as they fill out a survey, and there's laughing, and there's like eye contact. Like it's just really like authentic.
Hmm.
But like the reason why we so broadly is that we're not trying to build a campus club. We're a university student movement dedicated to the new evangelization. Like we
Renewal of the world.
that's what we're doing. So we're on campus to do evangelization. We're not on campus to build a decent campus club.
We don't want to make our students happy and comfortable.
Yes, we
And
do.
well, no, but what I mean, we're not there to provide a community for
No,
them. Although this
that all
happens,
happens.
but we're here to bring about the renewal of the world, and we want to invite people into that by inviting them into a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And the only way we can do that is to sow broadly, meaning go to the periphery broadly. Actually, as I kind of think about and reflect on sowing broadly is really going to the periphery. That's what it really is.
Mm-hmm.
It.
Yeah, Pope Francis says the periphery. John Paul II said go to the marketplace.
Yeah.
Um, maybe Benedict probably said go to the Areopagus. Like I'm not sure, but like there's this going out and being present and not even going out there confrontationally. Like I said, this joy of the gospel and like the noise from our table, I'm sure is annoying to everybody because we just have a good time. We're having a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughter.
Yeah.
And that's attractive and contagious, even to the person who doesn't sign the survey.
Mm-hmm.
What's it doing to their spiritual journey to go like, I've walked past those Catholic people on campus and okay, they're different. That's not what I
Exactly.
expected. So who knows where that seed will lead when they're 35 and they're getting their kid baptized and they decide to come back to the church, and a little part of them goes like, maybe not all Catholics are grumpy or whatever, right? Like so, yeah, we don't know that the funnel or even beyond the funnel what our witness on campus is doing, but we're gonna go for it.
I want to tell you a story. I travel a lot, so I'm on a plane, and there's a conversation I had with somebody next to me on a plane. We got into a conversation, and she said that she's in administration at Carleton University, And I told her what that I'm involved in this movement called Catholic Christian Arts, and she goes, and she's not Catholic, and I'm sure she's not, really supportive. She goes, Catholic Christian, I've heard of that. You guys are really active on campus. When do they say that about the Catholic Church, that we're very visible on campus? Because she didn't go, and you're a problem. It was like, yeah, this is good. I'm glad you're active. Like, you haven't caused, any
You've added something to the
added
culture.
something to the culture.
Mhm.
And so, in 30 years, we have not been, you know, um, somehow told we can't do it. We're doing, because it is not. We're not trying to cause a rift. We're not controversial.
No.
We're invitational.
That-
What we're doing is we're inviting him into something. We're not confronting.
Yeah, like we're not out there like
Yeah.
doing defending things. Like
Yeah.
we're not being defensive or
Mhm.
on the aggressive. We're just engaged. Like
Yeah.
we're just doing it.
So, you that are listening to this and you're kind of wondering, okay, should I do this? Like, oh man, this is difficult, challenging, whatever might be the, what's causing you to resist, or you're trying to be inspired to do this. Why should I do this? Well, I want you to know that going out, we are not, and Sowing Broadly, we're actually reaching out to the periphery. We're doing mission, but we're not trying to confront. We're inviting. The Sowing Broadly is in the way of the gospel is inviting people into something. And you know what? We haven't met up with people opposing us because of what we're doing. They're actually quite impressed that the church is visible. And so Sowing Broadly really is being visible in the periphery. So I invite you to just, be part of this movement in bringing about the renewal of the world.